In a world where the Earth is dead, the Great Fire has engulfed the planet, but no one knows where it came from. The remnants of humanity hunt in packs and try to scrounge for some food and nutrients to keep them alive in this vast, dangerous wasteland. All while being hunted by what they call Hydras. They fight back to the best of their ability, but with no superpowers or help from any outside source, it's futile. Until one day, they stumble in a cave, fighting one of those beasts, and come crashing down on top of what seems to be some sort of sleep chamber. But that doesn't matter. It's too late for them. They're about to die. It's Wonder Woman. That sleep pod was hers. She dispatches the monster with little help from the humans close by. But she feels weak. She has no gauntlets on her wrists. Her power is fading, and she can't seem to fly. But at least they're safe. For now. They make their way upstairs, and by the gods, it's Bruce. He's a decaying corpse in the ruins of his once great mansion. What has happened to Earth? She asked the humans, but they say their elders didn't want the stories to live on. It was too depressing. Nobody wanted to relive those events. They only know the name of the destruction, the Great Fire, which they interpret as bombs, atom bombs to be exact. And the so-called Hydras are most likely mutated beings from the nuclear fallout. She tells them that she is from a time before, when green and blue stretched across the great planet, and she was its protector. But she has obviously failed that task. Later, she removes Bruce's utility belt and enters his room of weapons. She finds her old clothing torn apart, but spots a new one close by. She buckles up and tells the guys that she would like to join them. They make the long and arduous journey to their home, the last remaining human city. When they arrive, they attack her, knocking her out to present her to their king. He wants her as his wife, but she refuses, violently, which gets her weakened body thrown in what they call the pits. Later in her cell, the guards arrive to take her into the pits of ending, they call it. Thousands gather to watch on in awe of what appears to be some sort of Roman gladiator arena, and she's the gladiator. Roars and growls of a ferocious creature can be heard from her opponent's gate. It opens, and it's Cheetah, her old foe, but now she seems to have mutated into some ghastly being. She tries to reason with her, saying, "Barbara, wait," but she's not listening. Meanwhile, on the outskirts of the city, the Hydras begin appearing on the horizon. They're coming for the city. As they attack, Diana and Cheetah are still fighting. She can't stop. They'll hurt her, she says. Until they finally come to their senses because they hear them coming. They begin to swarm the pit. The humans and the Hydras prepare for one last stand, but Diana interrupts and begins decimating the creatures with the most brutality I've ever seen her show. The creatures seem to be winning, but not if she's anything to say about it. After a long and drawn out battle of blood and guts, they are victorious, all thanks to Diana. They worship at her feet, while Cheetah chases the nasty king for revenge because of the pain he's caused her. But Diana stops her. She appeals to her human side. She fights, but Diana does not fight back, until Cheetah breaks down by her side, crying, saying, You don't know what they did." As the two share a tender moment, the crowd begin to erupt behind them, with only one thing on their minds: Diana. She calls to them, telling them she knows they live in constant fear and hunger. She wants to help them. She wants to fight for them, if they'll let her. She tells the guards to take the king away and begins to tell Cheetah she will help her, but she runs, fleeing the city. She says these people can't keep living this way. Humanity needs a place to thrive. She's taking them home. She's taking them to Themyscira. She reminisces on her training with Nubia all those years ago, and how she couldn't control her strength. Nubia seeks Diana's mother's help to help solve this problem. She explains that she made her that way. On the last day before she left for Earth, all the gods partied too hard and they all passed out, while she secretly went around to every single god and drained their blood from them, even Zeus. Using this blood, she created her daughter from the clay, and Diana was born. This is the source of her great strength. Back in the present, they're preparing to set out on the journey. One of the humans has built them a small boat to reach the island, while the other took inventory of the bat belt. There are some unbelievable things inside of it. They set off into the winter's snow. They travel days and nights, not knowing when they'll meet their end, whether it be to hunger or to Hades. She continues to reminisce on when Nubia presented her with the gauntlets, made from the rare metals of Themyscira. They are given to her to control her power. They're power dampeners, as she is too strong, but she still agrees to submit to them. In the present, she's knocked back into reality by the biggest Hydra they've ever seen. The army readies to go to war. It's taken out too many troops. She has to do something. And that's when she spots a vehicle. She gets in and drives up the cliff face, as fast as she can, before leaping the vehicle directly at the monster's head, smashing into it. She jumps out, cutting open a hole, dumping gasoline into it. She takes a lighter from Bruce's belt and throws it in. She has slain the Titan, but the losses are great. One of the humans cuts open the monster and he discovers that the monster seems to have a human physiology, just at a gargantuan scale. The humans and Diana reach the edge of the water. It's time for her to leave them behind to check out the island. She takes 2 humans with her and they set off, hoping to return soon. When they reach the island, they discover their worst nightmare. The island is the same as the rest of the world, broken and torn to bits. She leaves the humans on the boat behind and begins to investigate. And that's when she comes face to face with Nubia. She's still here. She just points to the catacombs. The humans discuss what to do, and they decide that they can't leave her alone. She traverses the cave until she sees her. It's her mother. She runs into her arms. "I've missed you." But she quickly discovers the mother she knew is long gone. She grabs her head, showing her and putting into her mind how this all happened. It was the humans, they bombed them. But bombs cannot kill gods, but the fallout changed them forever into something awful. The beautiful Amazons mutated by the humans. The Amazons are the Hydras. But before anything more can happen, the human slices her hands off of Diana, with Nubia still hot on their tail. They fend her off, but it's no good. And that's when they grab a flashbang from the utility belt. They escape with their lives for now. Well, not all of them. It's about to be over for them, until Cheetah comes to the rescue, riding a Pegasus, taking Nubia completely out. They get on a flying horse, while Cheetah attacks Nubia, knocking her helmet off, revealing her disgusting, disfigured face. They take off, fleeing her homeland, for now. They land and let the human off. Diana has had enough. She's been killing her sisters to protect their murderers. They can't be trusted. But she promised to help them. You should have never trusted me. And I should have never trusted you. Later, at a campfire, Cheetah begins to jog Diana's memory of the past. The humans were destroying the planet, so the Amazons had to step in, but they didn't like that. Diana tried to get peace talks going, but it was no use. Humans don't take kindly to being directed. The humans decided bombs would solve their problems, but that's when they destroyed Themyscira. During the fallout, they captured Cheetah and began experimenting on her. Back on the island, her mother is preparing for war. The final war to take the humans down once and for all. Go find your sisters, Amazons. Wipe the stain of humanity off this dead world. Back in the human settlement, the old king reveals that, in the Bat Belt, he found what seems to be a tracking device. She's heading north. Very north. But she also found something herself back on that island. If you touch it, it makes you tell the truth. She uses it on the old king, revealing that he actually has no ulterior motives. He just wants to help. She's the only chance they have of survival. So she sets off in search of Wonder Woman. Far off in the north, they come face to face with the Fortress of Solitude, but it has thousands of bodies piled up outside it. Cheetah says they all came to him looking for help when the earth fell. But he never came. They land at the gate, and she tries to pick up the key, but is too weak. But the door opens anyways. It's a superbot. Clark left a part of himself behind to look after his fortress. I need to speak with him, she says. You don't remember? You killed him. No. She can't believe her eyes. The war was coming to an end. Earth was falling to the Amazons. They came face to face for the Battle of the Earth. They didn't want to fight each other. But it was too late. The bombs have already flown. They were all sent to Themyscira. Diana's mother releases her from her gauntlets, telling her to stop the bombs and unleash all of her power. She faces them finally. She destroys as many as she can with lightning speed. But there was too many. Themyscira had fallen. Diana, I'm so sorry, Clark stutters. But she's lost it. Her whole life, her family, her home, all gone because of humanity. She feels the blood of the gods course through her veins. Diana? She attacks Superman with all her might, blasting him to the other side of the planet. Please stop, Diana. Don't do this. Alright then. Superman begins to fight back. But Diana at full strength is too powerful for him. They break the sound barrier as she pummels his head through mountains. He begins to shoot her with his eyes, but she headbutts him and slaps him again. She readies her knee, almost putting it through his head. She begins to beat him to a bloody pulp. They fight for what feels like hours through countless cities all over the world. While the earth was burning from mankind's biggest mistake. Before eventually landing in his home, his fortress, she grabs fistfuls of kryptonite. Diana, please listen. But she's too far gone, beating him silly, until finally... She can't believe it. She did this? She blacks out from the shock. She awakes later on a bed, being looked after by the Superbot. But if Clark dies, who turned you on, Cheetah asks. He was activated by one of her old friends. But before they can get into more detail, the perimeter alarm goes off. It's her. She's finally reached him. Cheetah and Superbot gives them the room to talk it out. But when they leave, she's attacked by her own lasso. She reveals the truth to her, that she is the child of the gods, and she brought the earth to its knees. She apologizes for what they did, and they both need some time to think. Meanwhile, the Superbot hands the human woman a green box and says this will change everything. They discuss how the people back at base are doing, knowing they will need their help soon. The Superbot shows them to a room that might be useful. It's Superman's armory of weapons he's collected from fights over the years. But it's not enough, she thinks. She lays Clark's body out and apologizes for what she's done, and rips his skull and spine from his decrepit body, lacing her lasso through each bone. There will be no man to help us on our quest. Just his bones and a beautiful memory. Let's go. In the past, just after the big fight, Batman has found Wonder Woman unconscious in the fortress. He's trying to heal her back to health. He knows it's too late for him, but she's a god. She will live. He leaves the future in the hands of the Superbot, saying someone worthy will come. Someone human. And he takes her back to his home. He puts her in her sleep chamber. He wishes he could end her, there and then. But he has to do the opposite. She broke the world. She's the only one who can save it. He walks upstairs and picks out one of his finest liquors, takes a sip, and enjoys the end of the world. The ragtag team of a mutant, a human, a Superbot, and a god prepare for Earth's final war. Superman had a hovercraft lying around, and they attach all their weapons to it. Diana mounts her steed, and off they fly to save the future, while our human friend still hides her dark secret from Diana. On the beach, they prepare to take their final breaths on this day, as they spot the creatures emerging from the deep. They open fire, and it begins. Nubia attacks the archers with her flying sisters, but Diana arrives in the nick of time to quell her attack with a swing of her new and improved bone whip. She tells the troops to focus on the biggest titan, her mother's one. Cheetah arrives, guns blazing, ready to wreak havoc, until Nubia cuts the party short with a swift swing of her blade. They crash and burn with their foe advancing on them. But the old king arrives with his newfound weapon, blasting Nubia the best he can. But it's no use. The Superbot enters the fight, taking Nubia off the map. Behind the battle, the old king passes, knowing he gave his life for something good, instead of his old evil ways. Superbot locks fist with the giant Amazonian, but is too distracted by the fight that he does not notice the drooling behemoth coming its way. More and more titans keep emerging. It's too much. But Diana narrows her focus to their leader. Stop her and this all ends. But Nubia interrupts. She pleads with what's left of Nubia's mental state, but it's no use. She takes her lasso and strikes her down with it. She's fallen. She picks her up and she drags her body to her mother's feet. Diana is done for. It's over. But they can't give up. They can't give in. One last charge. But our human friend still has a trick up her sleeve. One given to her by the Superbot. This box will bring Diana back to full strength. So they run, fight, dodge and weave their way to her, enduring blow after blow to ensure her mission is a success. Her fellow soldiers clear away. An opening appears. She opens the box, takes the syringe out, and injects Diana with the last hope of this dead earth. Her powers, they're back. She picks up her whip and flies for the first time in centuries. She begs her mother to stop. Call off her sisters. She doesn't want to hurt them any more than she already has. But her mother will not listen. Either you save the humans and kill us all, or stand aside, her mother screams. I'm sorry, my sisters. She flings her whip with such force it could have crushed the moon, taking down her sisters with ease. Each swing, each slash, brings them an inch closer to victory. But at what cost? All of her sisters have fallen. All that's left is the queen. She readies her whip, but she could never strike her own mother down, pleading with her emotions to stop. But her mother cuts and runs, retreating to the ocean. She's won, but her family is gone. Later she buries the dead, even in monster form, and her human warrior companions help all they can. She returns to Themyscira in search of her mother, but she's gone. She'll find her one day, and she'll heal her. She has moved the last remaining human colony to her homeland, where they can rebuild and try and revive this dead earth. Well, everybody, that's it. I really hope you enjoyed this book. I really did. Daniel Warren Johnson, the author of this book and author, has an unbelievable art style, and his storytelling is so good as well. If you like this video, please let me know down in the comments down below. Like, share, comment, subscribe. Peace.